for me, the marathon it's not about me. It's about all the people who are behind me, that they're counting on me to get to the finish line. And if I don't, I might trip them up, and I'm not about to trip nobody up. So I got to keep going because I don't want to let everybody else down behind me. Like, what kept me motivated was realizing that Afro Unicorn, the why I created it was not about me. I had already found me. I already had my avatar. I know what the Afro Unicorn was for me, but I had an obligation to the world and to the people that were behind me to make sure I saw this thing all the way through. This is April Showers, founder of Afro Unicorn, and you're listening to Dreams and Drive.
Summer's here, and you know staying hydrated should be one of your biggest priorities. That's why Smart Water is always on my list. As a busy mom and always on the go, I love how easy it is to hold Smart Water and how it is just the right accessory for my daily outfits. With days in mind that usually involve a lot of overthinking, Smart Water provides a refreshing change of pace and allows me not to have to think too much. Plus, the taste is great too. Smart Water has this pure, crisp taste with added electrolytes, and I love it. Life's full of choices. Smart Water is a simple one. Visit drinksmartwater.com to learn more. You know real when you get it. It'll say eBay Authenticity Guarantee, and you'll feel it. Maybe it's a head-turning handbag, a watch that says it all, jewelry that makes you look like the gem, sneakers and streetwear so fresh every step feels fly. eBay gets it. So look for the blue check mark next to that thing you love. And be confident that every inch, stitch, sole, and logo is checked by experts. With eBay Authenticity Guarantee, you can trust that feeling of real is always in reach. Ensure your next purchase is the real deal. Visit ebay.com for terms. Today, our guest is Miss April Showers, founder and CEO of Afro Unicorn. She started a movement of like-minded Black unicorns through apparel and accessories in May 2019 in order to remind women and children of color how unique, divine, and magical they are. By May of 2022, she entered retail as one of the first Black women and Black brands in many categories. And by 2023, which is her Jordan year, she's had a significant presence at 7 of the world's top retail stores in over 25 plus categories. This episode with April was just filled with so much about her drive, all gas, no brakes mentality, and how she was able to go from a career in real estate and insurance and really grow as a retail entrepreneur who is changing the game for those who are interested in licensing, and also putting a Black-owned, female-owned Black brand on the map. We're doing a giveaway with April, so if you guys are interested in winning some Afro Unicorn merchandise, just go to dreamsanddrive.com/win, dreamsanddrive.com/win. I'll also be posting it on social, so make sure you're following us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Dreams and Drive is our handle, so make sure you are following us there. And remember, go to dreamsanddrive.com/win if you want to enter to win some Afro Unicorn merchant. All right, let's get into this episode. Hi, April. Welcome to Dreams and Drive.
Hi, Raina. Thank you for having me.
I am super excited to have you on. You know, Afro Unicorns are doing big things, so being able to hear the founder story and how you were able to start the brand is going to be super cool. But as I love to start all our interviews, I think going back in time is really important, right? So take me to Los Angeles, right? You grew up in Los Angeles. Want to make sure I get that right. Take me to the young April. What was inspiring you about the world back then?
Well, I was born in South Central Los Angeles, born in Inglewood, grew up in South Central. What inspired me was just seeing the world. Like, I didn't stay in my local area. I was bussed out to different schools in different areas. And I did a lot of extracurricular activities in different areas. So just seeing other lifestyles and seeing Beverly Hills at a young age and Woodland Hills and Rolling Hills and Malibu, and just seeing all the different areas outside of South Central Los Angeles was kind of what inspired me.
What was the dream for you as a kid, though? What was that? What was the thing that, was there anything that you're like, when I grow up, I want to be this?
Nope. I never had a when I grow up, I'm going to be a doctor or a lawyer or anything like that. Everyone around me always knew that I would be somebody big. They've, like in my old yearbooks, they wrote, "Can't wait to see your name in lights." But I wasn't a singer. I was a dancer, but
I danced too.
I wasn't like the best ballerina. But I went to art school, but I knew that I wasn't going to be like a professional dancer once I found out how much they made. It's just like, that's not going to get the lifestyle. I always knew, though, that I was going to be some kind of boss, like probably like around the age of 13, 12. I just knew that I was going to have my own of something. But I didn't have like a defined answer on what it was that I wanted to be when I grew up.
All right, so I have two questions.
Successful. That's what I knew. I knew I was going to be successful.
I have two questions from that then. Why do you think people thought you were going to be something, right? Because I think it's really interesting how you said that you knew you were going to be a boss and other people saw something in you as well. What was it that they saw, looking back now?
So I have a good friend. Her name is Yamanika Sanders. She's a comedian and actress, and we also went to high school together. And we did a podcast when I first launched, like back in 2019, 2020. And on that podcast, it was so interesting to hear her talk about me as a high schooler. And then she was just like, April's been owning and running things since the beginning of the time. Like, she was running the school. She owned the school. She had her own car. Like, I've been very opinionated. I would have to sit down and ask all these people, but I think it was because I'm very like outspoken, been like that since I was 2 years old. Mm-hmm. I've always been a disturber, a disruptor. And maybe that has something to do with it, because they always saw that I never just went with what was the thing to go with. I knew everybody. Everybody knew me. I mean, when I say I knew everybody, when I was in school, from little school to big school, I knew the janitors. I knew the cafeteria workers. I knew everybody, but I never was involved in the clique. Like, I never, how people have reunions, they have the same girls that they hook up with. And I never had that. I've always been a leader. Never a follower, and I never ever tried to fit in. So maybe that's what they saw, that that fitting in wasn't my thing. I never tried to just blend in. There's a lot of people that master being a chameleon, and I don't do that very well.
Oh, I love that. And why do you think how do you think not ever wanting to fit in or not feeling like you need to fit in has helped you just later in life and where you are now?
Well, I have a whole unicorn brand.
Right? I wanted you to say that without me even saying that.
So, and it's interesting because the story of how I got to Afro Unicorn, which I'll let you direct how you want to get there. But I didn't grow up with unicorns. I didn't even know about unicorns. But to know that it was embedded in me at such a young age that I was unique, I was separate, makes all the sense why I landed on this brand called Afro Unicorn.
Yeah, it all comes full circle. So let's fast forward a little bit past you as a young April. Actually, no, I forgot to note this. I love your name, April Showers, right? Were your parents, was that deliberate? Were they like, do this?
Because I was born in July.
Ah, okay.
So I was purposely named April Showers.
I love that.
So I think even my name, it was just destined.
Yeah,
I never knew, though, that it would be this. I never knew that I was going to have a licensed character brand. I didn't even know what licensed character brands were. So
let's get to that journey, because I think it's like the steps before the thing that pops off, right? I'm not saying your other things weren't popping off for you, but you went into real estate and life insurance or insurance, just regular any types of insurance. Different types of insurance?
That's two different things. So I went into real estate for real estate. So real estate is the buying and selling of property. And then I'm also a State Farm agent. So that's everything: home, life, auto, business, everything. But I started in real estate first, like in my 20s, like 22. I started in real estate.
Okay, so you started in real estate. Were you enjoying it? And I say that because sometimes when we find success when we're building our brands, building our careers in one industry, we might not always love it. But what were you finding about? How did you feel as you were building your life, right, in these two industries throughout your 20s and 30s?
So with the real estate, I actually did love it. In the beginning, I was doing loans. So I was processing loans and approving loans and helping people get more money or purchase their homes. And I'm a problem solver. So I love going to work. I worked for E-Trade Mortgage back in the day where we service all 50 states. So I would be at work at 4:00 in the morning, 4:30 in the morning, just so I could be at my desk at 5 because the East Coast started at 8. And sometimes I wouldn't leave till like 10, 11 o'clock at night. And I loved it. I loved working. I loved helping people. My mission in life is to help enough people get to where they want to be. And in return, I'll get to where I need to be. So that was great. And then I got into actually selling of homes, and I loved that. The feeling of giving somebody their keys and then knowing that it's the most stressful thing one of the most stressful things you'll ever do in your life is to go through a home purchase. It's just very stressful because there's a lot of questions like, well, why do you want to know all that? Why do you want to know that? And I have to be the one to say, well, because they're about to give you tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's why they need to know everything. But then I learned how, because I had the experience of processing loans. So I knew I had a competitive edge with my clients because I knew what to tell them, because I knew what underwriters were looking for to how to get them approved. I stopped practicing real estate not that long ago, right before I fully got into Afro Unicorn, because I fell out of love with it. And I'm a true believer. You got to do what you love or just don't do it no more.
Exactly.
And that's what I decided to do. I got with some really messy clients. And I'm like, y'all not going to be stressing me out. I'm not doing this. So, I'm still licensed, but I definitely am not about to run nobody around showing them nothing. not at this time. And then the insurance, we have a love-hate relationship.
Okay.
I like to live a very positive life. Hence why I have a whole unicorn brand. But insurance can be very negative. I love the life insurance part of it. I love being able to help my clients and help them prepare. But y'all, rates going up on your cars, your rates going up on your house. Why is my bill $2 more? So I still have my office. Thank God I have my girl Miriam runs. She's the office manager. She takes care of all those complaints. And I pray over her because I'm like, who wants to deal with all those complaints all day? I don't. So I don't know where that relationship is going to go. We'll
let me ask you this though, before we get into Afro Unicorn, because I was just talking about this with a guest yesterday. All the things that before what she's doing now, although she wasn't 100% in love with it, she realized there were some amazing lessons and just life skills that she learned. And for you, what do you think what was the one thing from each of those industries that you think have helped prepare you to where you are today?
Well, on the insurance side, State Farm is the number one insurance company in the U.S. And they are that because they do an extremely well job with marketing. So when you're an agent with them, you have the brand of State Farm, but you have to figure out how to run your own office. And I learned marketing 101 through 2000 working with them because I had to figure out how to drive people to my office. So all the marketing stuff, the branding, I learned the difference between what branding was, what marketing was, what sales is. I learned all of that through having my own State Farm. I think I'm 12 years with my own agency now.
Okay.
And then with real estate, I just know how to deal with people. And I know it taught me how to deal with people, and it also taught me how to get what I need, how to streamline things. and urgency. I learned urgency. I probably already had a sense of urgency before I started, but starting at 22, processing millions of dollars a month.
So, Dream Drivers, did you know that almost half of Black-led brands are discovered by word of mouth? That's why Walmart is inviting everyone to shout out Black-led products all summer. When you fall in love with a Black-led product, do not hold back. Tell your friends, your family, your coworkers, even strangers at the bus stop. Tell everybody, because one shout out leads to another. Every time we recommend a Black-led brand, we're creating more demand for the product and other Black-led brands. There's always a chance to discover a new Black-led gem, and you can right now by exploring the Black and Unlimited collection at Walmart. And y'all know I'm always down to ride for some of my faves, and some of them have even been in this guest chair. From the Honey Pot and all that they're doing in the wellness space, to my girl Shantae Lundy at Black Girl Sunscreen, making sure we're staying protected in the sun. Also, I can't forget about my girl Melissa Butler at the Lip Bar, who is making sure us brown beauties have access to quality, dope beauty products. Go to walmart.com/Black and Unlimited to discover all the amazing Black-led products, creating a new world of choices at Walmart. You'll know real when you get it. It'll say eBay Authenticity Guarantee, and you'll feel it. Maybe it's a head-turning handbag, a watch that says it all, jewelry that makes you look like the gem, sneakers and streetwear so fresh every step feels fly. eBay gets it. So look for the blue check mark next to that thing you love and be confident that every inch, stitch, sole, and logo is checked by experts. With eBay Authenticity Guarantee, you can trust that feeling of real is always in reach. Ensure your next purchase is the real deal. Visit eBay.com for terms.
Black culture feeds fashion, but fashion doesn't always feed Black creatives. I mean, only 7.3% of American fashion designers are Black. So McDonald's is pairing 5 rising Black designers with 5 fashion insiders for career-changing mentorships and the access they deserve. Because we can do better than 7.3. Together, we can change the face of fashion. Follow their journey on Instagram at WeAreGolden.
Statistics sourced from Zippia.com as of 2021.
Realizing that these were real people who were counting on you to make sure their deal closed.
Yeah.
I have a huge sense of urgency that goes all the way across everything that I do now.
I love that. And that's something that I've heard just in doing my research. It's like, you seem to be that person who's like, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, and we're going to go full in. And I think that's something that a lot of us dream drivers, we might halfway step into the dream, right? And you can't halfway step into something and think you're going to get the full benefit of it or just the full results. Take me to 2019, the year 2019, right? Where were you? And let's start talking the beginnings of Afro Unicorn.
So in 2018, my friend kept referring to me as a unicorn because I was actually actively closing deals and had the insurance agency, and I was raising my boys who were probably like ages, I'm not good with the math, but maybe like 12 and then 4 years behind. But I had 2 little boys, and he kept calling me a unicorn. Like, he called me a unicorn for 2 years though. And finally I was just like, why you keep calling me a unicorn? He said, well, because you're running the businesses, you're raising your boys, you're a unicorn. And I'm like, I'm a woman. That's what we do. He's like, no, April, you do it at an extraordinary level. Again, people seeing things and
people speaking that light into you, right? Mm-hmm. You're receiving the light. Sometimes people speak things into us and we're like trying to dodge it. Were you basking in that energy that they were sending your way?
At that particular time, because he had been calling me that for a long time. But something had happened in my life to where I finally was like, okay, I'm gonna receive these flowers that you're giving me.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'm gonna be this unicorn. Once I realized what they were unique, they were mystical. I'm like, I'm unique, I'm Black Girl Magic. So I went and I started to use that emoji in our phones all the time. Text, copy, I always just put the unicorn. And after some time, it just hit me like, why is it only white? Like, why? And so I went to go find one that looked like me. I couldn't find one. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to make my own avatar. I'm going to make a unicorn that can resonate with me. And that's how I got into the process. This now is like the end of 2018, the process of creating this Afro Unicorn. And then in the process of creating it, when I was seeing all the different shades and just the array of what it possibly could be, and the reason why I was being called a unicorn, I was like, you know what? I have something here. I really don't know exactly what it is, but I know that there's other unicorns out there. And I want to go find them. I want to find the women who have a lot going on and they don't realize that they are unicorns, women who want to go into entrepreneurship. I was a serial entrepreneur. That's why he called me a unicorn. So I wanted to find those serial entrepreneurs. I wanted to find people, find their gifts, talents, and abilities, and to see how I could nurture them, to show them that you can make this into you can monetize whatever your passions are. And I just figured I was going to start having these major conferences where I was going to teach these women and bring them all together. And I was going to give them my avatar. I was going to give them something that represented who they were. And so in 2019, April 28th, I invited
April, isn't it funny? Look, April, this happened in April. Your name is April.
Yeah, it was on purpose because it was my ex-boyfriend's birthday.
Oh,
and I had been with him for like a few years, and we had a hard breakup. And that's when I was like, really like, let me go back to my friend, find out why he was calling me a unicorn. And I'm like, this is going to help me. And his birthday was always like something we celebrated for him. So like, I don't want that date anymore to be about him. So I took the date back. So April 28th is the birth date of Afro Unicorn now. That's the only birthday we celebrate. So I invited these 25 women to come to my home. I didn't tell them much about what was happening. Just got all their shirt sizes because I wanted them all to have their Afro Unicorn tees. And then I wrote bios on them. I wrote miniature bios on each woman. Some of them were entrepreneurs, had their side hustles. So I purchased 25 or whatever that they had so I could give to the other ladies. And I just basically said I was forming our own table, our own space. There's a quote that if someone doesn't give you a seat to the table, you bring your own folding chair. So I have folding chairs wrapped around this table. And I just knew that I was building a movement. I knew that the Afro Unicorn brand itself was something big that was going to be worldwide. I still did not connect all the dots, but I'm just going to put a little gem in here. Even when you can't connect all of the dots, you still have to keep moving. And as long as you stay and drive, the path will pave its way in front of you.
I hear you there.
It's when you see all these dots and you're like, well, I can't connect them. And then you get paralyzed in fear because you can't connect all the dots. So I was like, look, I got this unicorn. I'm inviting these women. I had a videographer, had my friend come interview them. Blindly, we asked them all, like, what do you think when you hear the words Afro Unicorn? Because I just really wanted to know, what do people think?
Yeah. You were like, what's the word when you are putting something into the market and you're kind of getting that feedback, right?
Yeah. I'm lost for the word right now, but
there's a word. I can't think of the word either. That's why.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I did. So I asked them that. I asked them, what would they what would they tell their younger self? What's Black Girl Magic to them? So I had all this B-roll of what it all meant to them. And then I brought them to the table. They saw their bios with their pictures. And I just spoke to them. I spoke what I saw in them. I do have a gift of seeing gifts, talents, and abilities in other people. So I just went through the room and just spoke over them and just told them about this wonderful thing that I was creating and that how we were going to support each other. And at the end, they were like, okay, what's your Instagram? Like, huh?
You didn't have an Instagram then?
Nope.
But look, it just goes to show that sometimes you don't need to have it all to get started. But then I'm pretty sure you made an Instagram after that, right?
Oh, yeah. So I called somebody, I wasn't even on social like that. So they had to create it because I didn't know how to create an Instagram account for me. And we created an Instagram account on, I think, May 1st because, the event was the 28th. So by May 1st, I had the Instagram account. I had all their photos from the event. And I had some of the B-roll. Everything for me is out urgency. So my photographer got me my photos back. The videographer got me my videos back. So on that first day, I started posting like pictures from the event, and then I really wish I should go back to see who was the first Afro Unicorn I posted. But I posted one of the girls, and I, talked about who they were, what their brand was, why you should follow their brand, why you should tap in and patronize them, and what made them unique, divine, and magical. And it just grew. Like,
organically.
It just started growing when people were like, oh, if I get a shirt, because we launched May 17th. Let me back up. It didn't just grow, because I don't want people to think I'm a firm believer of there is no such thing as if we build it, they will come. You got to build it, but you got to market it. Because if you ain't marketing it, they ain't coming because they don't know it's there.
Exactly.
So I had set the date that May 17th was going to be the day we launched the e-commerce store. And so I was getting just preparations, posting my girls and my friends, and my baby went into the hospital. He was 8. Duh, I know that. My 8-year-old, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yep. My 8-year-old went into the hospital, and I didn't know what to expect, but he wasn't doing well. And I was going to put everything on hold because I'm like, I have to focus on him. I don't know what's happening. I have this other young child at the house. I am a single mom, and I can't start a whole business. 3 people on 3 separate occasions, but kind of like back to back, all sent me messages like, I know that you have this brand. 'Cause I was talking to people. They're like, I know you have something that you're trying to start, and your baby in the hospital, it's just the devil. And I'm like, I think it's food poisoning. I don't think it's that, like, it's not that deep. Like, and then it was another person. And then my pastor came through the door and was like, you gonna start that business? When you said you're gonna start that business, I was like, okay, we starting a business then.
This week's episode of Dreams and Drive is brought to you by Smart Water. So this summer, I have a lot of goals, and getting out and staying active is number one. But if you want to be active, you got to stay hydrated, and that's where Smart Water comes in. I love how complimentary Smart Water is to my daily routine. It fits right in my baby bag, it's easy to put in the car bottle holder, and just looks good if I'm holding it in my hand or my daily walks with the kids. When it comes to living my life, there's a lot to overthink. What's for lunch? Who's getting the kids? Who do I need to reach out to for interviews? What's for dinner? But at least I don't have to overthink my water. And look, later today, I know I'm going to have to take that little one out for his daily ATV ride and walk around the block. With this pure, crisp taste and added electrolytes, I know that we'll all stay hydrated for our summer excursions, and the taste will be on point too. Smart Water provides a refreshing change of pace, a moment of clarity with a simple choice of hydrating. And at this stage in my life, that is super important. Life's full of choices. Smart Water is a simple one. Visit drinksmartwater.com to learn more. Hey, Dream Drivers, if you're like me, you know the struggle of dealing with a wild child who just won't keep their diaper on. That's why I'm excited to share my favorite Pampers Cruisers 360, the ultimate baby-proof diaper for your little explorer. Pampers Cruisers 360 features a 360-degree stretchy waistband instead of the usual tabs. This unique design helps prevent your baby from removing their diaper, which means no more unexpected messes. And trust me, this is a game changer. One of the best parts, Pampers Cruisers 360 offers up to 100% leak-proof protection with a gap-free fit no matter how your baby moves. It's super easy to remove too. Just rip the sides, roll it up with a disposal tape on the back, and you're good to go. Try Pampers Cruisers 360 with the new Pampers Free and Gentle wipes for healthy baby skin. They're made from 100% plant-based cloth that grips the mess. With Free and Gentle, mess meets its match. Add Pampers Cruisers 360 and Free and Gentle wipes to your cart or pick them up at your local grocery or big box store. Say goodbye to messes and hello to more fun with Pampers. Remember, for trusted protection, trust Pampers, the #1 pediatrician recommended brand.
So thankfully, I'm an insurance agent. So I have this policy called indemnity, which I get paid X amount of dollars every day we're in the hospital. We ended up being in the hospital for over 20 days.
Wow. Was he all right? Did he turn out to be all right?
Yeah, he's fine now. They just
Okay.
couldn't figure it out. Like, it was nerve wracking. My baby went, his bill was like $230,000. They sent him through every single test possible because his lipase number, which should be, I think, somewhere in the hundreds or under the hundreds, his number was at 17,000. So it was off the charts. And they were trying to prevent him from having to go to the NICU. Because they had just had a child, I believe, that had passed away right before my son came with the same type of numbers.
Yeah.
So they were just like giving him every test possible. My baby had 9 IVs within that time period. His last one being
so
his
young
ankle.
as well.
Right. His last one being his ankle because they couldn't find any more veins. And like, it was just a hard time. But I launched Afro Unicorn. While I was there on May 17th, and we didn't leave till May 30th. Just a little gem about that. Like, I was saying all gas, no brakes.
Yeah.
So it was all gas, no brakes. Nipsey Hussle had just passed away. I'm from LA. I was already at the party on the 28th. It was the marathon continues, So I'm like, the marathon is going to continue. We're gonna be able to do this. I mentioned the hospital indemnity policy because I had money to get a personal assistant while I was in the hospital. So she was able to go get the shirts, the orders. She did everything for me while I was at the hospital with Christopher at the time. And then we got out of the hospital on the 30th or the 29th. And the next day, my favorite uncle, dropped dead of a massive heart attack. And 17 hours later, my other uncle died of pneumonia.
Were they related? Were they like uncles
Brothers.
on the same side? Wow.
Mm-hmm. The oldest and the youngest, the bookends, they died. And then I had to go to a double funeral in Louisiana a week later. Mind you, my baby just got out of the hospital. 6 months later, my grandmother died. It was just a lot. But it was all gas, no brakes. And yeah, so I have a real no excuse type mindset.
That just seems like a lot. And that would have broken a lot of people. Like, why do you think your spirit, I'm pretty sure you were feeling all the feelings during this, but what was it about you that said, I got to keep going though? Beyond people encouraging you, do you think there was something, that little seed within you, or what was that within you that didn't allow yourself to just say, I'll do this next year?
Oh, it was the marathon. I mean, I'm in LA, like we felt Nipsey on a whole different level.
Yeah.
So that it was really like I had committed to this marathon. And when you have that, for me, the marathon it's not about me. It's about all the people who are behind me, that they're counting on me to get to the finish line. And if I don't, I might trip them up. And I'm not about to trip nobody up. So I got to keep going because I don't want to let everybody else down behind me. Like, what kept me motivated was realizing that Afro Unicorn, the why I created it, was not about me. I had already found me. I already had my avatar. I know what the Afro Unicorn was for me, but I had an obligation to the world and to the people that were behind me to make sure I saw this thing all the way through. So that's what motivated.
So let's talk about the aftermath, right? Because there was so much that happened after this launch, but the part that I kind of want to skip ahead to is when you got that email from a buyer who was seeing everything that was happening with the Afro Unicorn brand. Talk to me about that day and how that set off a chain of events that really changed your life.
Maybe August. Yeah, it was August of 2021. I got an email from a buyer at Walmart asking, can we create a party supply line? And then like right before that, I was dealing with some issues with Amazon. I had all this inventory coming to my house. And I was just like, what the heck am I going to do?
Was the brand already, was the traction already growing throughout those? I guess it's like a year and a half now. So traction was growing. I hope people are like, wait, how did we get from 2019 to 2021? Traction was growing with the brand, right? Like you were doing your online? Maybe talk about that a little bit.
Because let me say, when in the hospital, I didn't know social media. I didn't have Instagram, but I learned it because I had so much downtime. So I mastered understanding how to find my audience on social media. I mastered hashtag strategy. I went out every day. I would spend 7 hours finding my audience, searching hashtags like Black Unicorn, Black Girl Magic, going into those recents, seeing who those people were, commenting on them. Have you ever seen an Afro Unicorn before? I created a brand of women of color who hustle, follow the movement. So I grew it from zero to where it is now by finding my actual audience. And then if celebrities were in that feed, like if Tiffany Haddish was tagging a Black Unicorn, I was in her comments saying, have you ever seen Afro Unicorn before? And she responded. Same thing happened with Alicia Keys. Same thing happened with Sherry Shepherd. Like I was on a hunt to go find people that I knew will resonate with my brand. Because when you find people that resonate with your brand, what probably is gonna happen is they probably know about 5 other people that like the same stuff that they like. So then they go tell 5 more people, and now you're growing organically with people who resonate with your brand. So we really started to grow on the social level. And then when George Floyd happened, that was early 2000.
Was that 2021? Or 2020.
2021. And the pandemic, even with the pandemic was a blessing for us. And
I hear that a lot with a lot of like entrepreneurs. Like in one sense, people were at home. People were more invested in like figuring out brands that they actually wanted to support. Like they were more like mission driven during this time. Mm-hmm. Right?
Phaedra Park did a whole TikTok video with the shirt. And at the time, it was like the largest liked video that she had. It was over 3-point-something million people when she was rocking our shirt. She had cut it all up, and I had sent her that shirt almost a year prior.
Wow.
So we have been growing. The word we was word on the street.
But I love that because I think when you have that hustle, that's the thing that people need to realize. Like you can benefit from hustling, right? It's like people, when you see people, like I live in the New York City area. When you go to Times Square, you see that person on the corner trying to sell that CD. It's like that hustle will pay off in some way. So like you have to have some sort of grit and some sort of like on the ground guerrilla marketing efforts, especially in the beginning when you're just starting out. So love that.
Don't say that.
Or all the time, right?
I just had this conversation with my manager yesterday because there's another brand who dropped a character brand and didn't do well. And they basically pulled it out of retail. And I was talking to him. I'm like, what do you think happened? Like, why did they, like, do you not think that he thought, like, what happened? And he said it. He was like, April, he was like, they weren't consistent. He was like, I know that's not something you're not going to ever not do. That's what I preach all the time. Consistency is key. I used to share businesses every single Saturday when I started in 2019. I still share businesses every single Saturday on Afro Unicorn _official to this day. Like 6:00 in the morning on my way to the airport when I'm going to France on Saturday, I will still be in the DMs and Kalia would jump in, my social media manager, and she'll take it over. But we're not going to miss that. Yeah. A lot of times people think when they get to a certain level, they stop doing the things that got them to that level. It's all gonna crumble. It's like always Tetris.
And when I say that, I mean like sometimes you won't be the person doing it. You might have a team doing it, but the overall brand definitely still needs to always have that hustle spirit, that hustle mentality, figuring out how to make things bigger and better. Like Beyonce with Renaissance, right? What if she was dreaming big? Although she's like 20 plus years into business, she didn't have to say, I'm going to make sure I'm doing the best, right?
Right.
But she made sure to reinvent herself and always still figure out ways to connect with her audience. But let's go back to, sorry, I could go on a whole Beyonce rant. But let's go back to that email because I think that it plays to you never know who's watching you, right? And you never know who can support you and just how one email really changes the trajectory of your business.
Right. And it was a video of a little girl, Cassie Brianna, wearing an Afro Unicorn tee, taking pictures. And somebody walked by her and said, I love your hair. And with all her confidence, she said, thank you. It's an Afro. So that video was actually like February, but it started to go viral when a big hair company shared it in August. And then Viola Davis, she loves kid content, so she shared it. And then it just caught wildfire. But I always tell people, when I say wildfire, we talking about Beyonce, so her mama shared it. And then
Go
Oprah
Tina.
Daily. And then Oprah Daily shared it. And that's when the Walmart buyer saw it. But it wasn't because Oprah was like, oh, look at this little girl wearing her Afro Unicorn tee. It was the Horns baby, because we have been promoting Cassidy and putting her up on the platform constantly. That's Afro Unicorn shirt. Like, all the comments were saying Afro Unicorn. But then your girl was like working behind the scenes too, because the video was picking up so fast. I was DMing my crew and like, hey, get in these comments. Like, you got to Afro Unicorn, got to pull it up. You never know who's watching. I want to make sure that they know this is Afro Unicorn. So I was doing a lot of that work too, talking about grit and hustle. So yeah, the buyer saw it. She sent us an email. I was at a time where I was stressed out about Amazon, not knowing how I was going to move forward with all the inventory that I had on hand. My son came in the kitchen and was like, well, what about Walmart? And I was like, what about Walmart? Like, I didn't know. I didn't know how to get.
Were you a Walmart shopper before then?
There used to be one in my area, but it wasn't here. And then in LA, we don't really have a lot of them. So I wasn't like, but I'm not a shopper. I don't like shopping, which is really odd now that I have a whole brand. Go figure.
You buy your own, you get your products, you rock your products. That's all that matters.
Yeah, I do. But I've never, and maybe that's another thing God did for me, because he knows I hate shopping. And so now he's like, oh, girl, you just gonna wear your stuff all day, every day. And I do.
Everything you need. You got 25 categories you could choose from, 25 and more in content.
Right. My son was like, what about Walmart? And I'm like, Walmart, I'm not doing Walmart. Because, sometimes people, two things. I'm like, how the heck do I get in Walmart? And then it's like, I don't even know this brand's supposed to be a Walmart brand. I don't know any of that. 30 minutes later, we get an email from Walmart.
Are you serious? Same day he said it?
I was laying on the couch. He's my young COO. We share the same computer email. And he opened the door to his bedroom. He was like, Mommy, you see that? I was like, yes, you see it too. And he was just like, wow, because I have always been teaching my kids about they can manifest whatever they want. And all they have to do is put it out there and it'll happen for them. So for him to actually see that like really, really happen, like Mommy said it would happen, and it was him that did it, he was like, wow. So we get the email and it was up from there. Like, it's been up. I didn't know anything about licensing. I had no idea what they were talking about, but we had a couple of meetings. I reached out to a friend of mine who's now my manager at Skia Fountain. I was like, hey, they asked me about royalties. They're asking me about MGs. I don't know what to tell these people. And he's like, well, let me find out. So he reached out to a friend who used to be JoJo Siwa's attorney. He told us to watch The Toys That Made Us on Netflix. We spent the weekend watching that Netflix show. It was like Hello Kitty and Ninja Turtles and Barbie and My Little Pony. We watched all of those, got our one-on-one on licensing, and we were off to the races. It was all gas, no brakes.
So you know what? I love that you took that time to research. Like, you didn't say, I don't know what this is. I'm not even going to step into it, right? And going into the licensing, what was the most intriguing thing that you realized about how this could really be a revenue generator for the brand? There is so much that you can do with that. So it's just so amazing to really get to talk to you and just see how this all lives out. But maybe tell our listeners, not everyone may know exactly how licensing works for your brand.
So you asked one question. I'm answering that.
I know. I'm sorry. Because I'm getting excited here. I'm getting excited.
So what intrigued me the most when I watched The Toys That Made Us was saw that all those brands were billion-dollar brands. So I was like, okay, that's it for me. And the IP, there was an owner of the IP. I always knew Afro Unicorn was going to be big. It was going to be a worldwide household name, but I did not believe that I could still be the CEO or the owner. I thought I would have to sell the brand to somebody like a Mattel or whoever to get it worldwide. I did not know that with licensing, it allowed me to still remain 100% the owner. So I'm answering your second question now. So I own the intellectual property of Afro Unicorn. I'm the licensor, and then I allow licensees, like I might have a licensee who produces apparel, a licensee who produces socks, who produces underwear, like each different category. And that particular licensee, they have to give me a royalty for using my intellectual property. I still have 100% creative and quality control. And then we go through approval process. I say what it can be, what it can't be on. And so that's what licensing is.
And what's the benefit to the licensee, right, of using your characters, right? Because I think couldn't they just make their own unicorn, right? Like what is then the benefit on their end?
It's a financial benefit because the licensees, their role in the character space is to find characters that they can sell into retail.
Okay.
So if there is a popular character out there that they want to go get it because they know that the retailer is going to love this particular character, they're after it. So when I say I'm a character brand, when you go into the retailers, the Walmarts, the Targets, and you look for Afro Unicorn, you will go to the same place you would go to find Hello Kitty, Spider-Man, Star Wars. Like that is the section where you will find Afro Unicorn in. So
I love it. What were some of the challenges during this time, April? Because, of course, you're building a brand, you're getting into a space that you didn't know everything, so you were learning as you were going. What were some of those big challenges? And then how did you work through them?
So I'm going to go the small challenge and then I'll go to the big challenge. So the smaller challenge was just realizing how fast we were growing. I had secured over 35 licensees on my own before we got an agent. We brought an agent in. All the amount of contracts, the amount of approvals, the amount of all of that, it was just a lot. So my first problem was, girl, you can't do this on your own.
So building a team.
I read a book, Who Not How, and realized that I needed to find the people who can do it and not me trying to figure out how to do it. So I figured that out quick. So we got an awesome team. And then the second is ongoing. It is the competition. My competition is Disney, Marvel, and Nick. They have billion-dollar budgets. We don't. We just launched in retail last year. We launched in that party supply category. One category. We're now in 19 different categories at Walmart, 15 categories at Target. We're in 25 plus retailers. We're in probably tens of thousands of doors nationwide. Like, it's lot.
That's a lot. I'm saying that's a lot, and I'm not even.
And I don't have an episodic TV series behind me. I don't have a motion picture. But I'm competing, and they're grading me on the same level of The Little Mermaid.
You mentioned earlier that this is going to be $1 billion brand. Like, this is going to be the top brand. What are the things about Afro Unicorn, like from a business perspective, that are going to lead it there?
I'm going to be in my Kanye bag for a little bit. Me, because I'm not going to give up on it. I'm never going to get comfortable. I can't foresee myself just be like, oh, it's just a wheelhouse. It's going to run itself. I'm always going to show up to the table. I'm always going to be present because it's a daily grind. And there's so many people, if you allow the industry to come in and whitewash your IP, you could lose your core following. So I'm not going to allow that. So the biggest part of me of knowing that Afro Unicorn is going to keep growing is that I'm all gas, no brakes. I'm not going to stop till we get to the billion. $1 billion brand is called a what?
A unicorn. You know who you remind me of? I just love like your spirit and just how resilient you are. Do you know Pinky Cole, Slutty Vegan?
Yes.
Yeah, when I interviewed her, I think I interviewed her like in 2018. She was just beginning, right? And it's just so crazy to just see how now she's like $100 million restaurant, and more. She's doing so much. It's just like that. Like you have to have that spirit. So it really is you and you tapping into your strengths, right? Like I think that's something that a lot of us, we run from our gifts, right? Mm-hmm. Now as the CEO and the founder and really just maybe let me ask you this question. Like, what does your day-to-day look like now, right? And then I want to ask you the next question. So like, what are you focused on now as like the top person in the business?
My day-to-day is meetings on Zoom. My team has agreed that I don't need to be on all the meetings anymore.
Okay, that's good.
So I get up, I have these kids. My 17-year-old, he take care of himself. But the little one, the 12-year-old, I still have to get him to school back and forth. So I do that mommy thing in the morning. Just a small little plug. I'm able to put Afro Unicorn fruit snacks in his lunch pail. Love it. So it's a flex. Afro Unicorn napkins in his lunch pail. He don't want an Afro Unicorn lunch pail though, because he's a boy.
He could give it to one of his little girlfriends. This is right. The age, right?
Right. But so I do that, and then I jump on a 7:40 in the morning call with my manager, and we go through check marks of all the stuff that needs to be done that day and delegate it out to who needs to do it. Important meetings like buyers, retailers, I'm always going to be on those calls, but the internal team figuring out approvals, all of that, they only bring me in when they're questioning something. They don't know 10 toes down that I'm going to approve it. Then that's where like, well, let me just ask April.
Okay.
My son is on a college tour right now. And I was telling my assistant yesterday that I've learned that when Jesse's not here, I don't get nothing done. Jesse is the COO. And I guess he don't be telling me what to do, but I just be feeling like he makes me feel like I have to be accountable and I have to do stuff because I had all this list of things I was supposed to do this week. I've been traveling too. I went from New York to a week, came back to LA, then went to London. I go to France tomorrow. I travel a lot. I do a lot of interviews. I do a lot of trade shows. I'm constantly traveling. But maybe I needed to not do nothing because I ain't washing no dishes. I haven't folded no clothes. I ain't packed. Okay. I ain't done no influencer packages. I haven't done anything. So I said today I was going to do better. But that's the typical day. The typical day is I'm constantly moving. I do wake up every morning with my journaling. I'm a big manifester. I believe in having a journal of gratitude. It's so important that you find 10 things that you're thankful for each day. I write them down every single day. I write down my massive goals every day.
I'd love to ask people this question. I think it's really just getting into your psyche a little bit. Is there anything that scares you? Because you seem like to be somebody right now who's fearless, right? But is there anything that really keeps you up at night as you're driving in the car, metaphorically, towards that end goal?
Oh, yeah. I'm nervous because my competitors. I don't have $1 billion budget. I do not have an episodic TV series. I do not have a motion picture. I am a diverse brand, but I'm not. I'm in the character space. I'm the first Black woman to have a licensed brand character in major retail. I am constantly like, this can't fall. Because remember what I told you in the beginning, I have a whole marathon behind me. Yeah. Like, I got to make it to the finish line. And people are counting on me to win. So I don't ever want it to be a situation where it was up one day and down the next. Grand opening, grand closing. No. So that's what keeps me. That's the fear that propels me to keep going and try to figure out new things and just nonstop, because failing is definitely not an option for this brand, but it is it is things that do keep me up, things that I do think about. I have to figure out how to fix not getting so involved in that though, because I got to focus on the end goal and not really focus on all of the problems, but I'm a natural problem solver. So that's part of the reasons why I've been removed from some calls, because they're like,
you're trying to figure out too much stuff.
She don't need to know if something isn't working. It's just not working in that category. But we're going to focus on what's working, and we're going to really promote that part of what's working.
So for the person listening in, right, who's like, dang, April really has it all together. She's doing it. She's all gas, no brakes, marathon mindset. I'm not there yet. I don't have that yet. Like, what kind of advice would you give to that person who's just struggling to stay motivated, although they might believe in their brand, right? But just can't connect that belief to action?
Pick up The Secret and listen to it. I really feel like the only thing that can prevent someone from doing whatever it is that they want to do is themselves.
That's the biggest, it's the hardest thing too, right?
Like, so you have to be able to shift the mindset, and The Secret is a really great book. It's a great movie, and it will help you reshape your mindset, but you have to be open to it. You have to just constantly have positive talk around you. If you have negative people around you, I don't care who they are. I limit my contact with a lot of different people. Again, I don't care who they are, family included. I don't have any room for negativity, because that stuff gets into your head. So I would say pick up The Secret. If you're having problems with your mindset, it helps you with your mind. And read. Try to find something after you do The Secret. Find inspirational books every morning that I love to listen, so I'm a Audible type of girl. Okay. And I do it like at 1.25 is my speed. So get you an account, look up books. I know Will Smith is going through it right now because of that wife of his, but his book is really great to motivate you. 50 Cent's book is great to motivate you. Just spend an hour just reading motivational books each morning.
All right. And last question, April. If you want to be a dream driver, you have to have your keys to success. So can you tell our dream drivers the 3 things you need in your toolkit before you hit the road?
The 3 things that you need is an attitude of gratefulness. You need to know your why, and you have to be willing to do the hard work consistently. I added a bonus. Sorry.
Oh, no. I think these are all great. April, thank you so much for sharing your journey. I'm like, you know how you see something, but now you know the person behind it. So I'm just even more inspired, because I think just knowing how that brand got there, right? If I'm walking through Walmart and I see Afro Unicorn on a shirt or lunch bags, right? My kid he's 3, but he's not really into unicorns, but just like walking through that section and just seeing it, right? I think it's just really cool to just say, yo, she was on my show. And, we know her story. So I really just do appreciate you sharing your journey here today.
And I appreciate you too, Raina. And for y'all, that's out there, Raina is a beast. I did not realize that she had a 3-year-old. I know that she has a 10-week, and she's been nursing while we've been on this Zoom, because it's all gas, no brakes. And that's what you do.
That's what I said. Like, I'm on maternity leave, and I'm like, you know what? With Dreams and Drive, this is a little bit just more about me. And people have heard this on the show. Like, sometimes I feel like I'm not big enough yet, right? Or why is it that these podcasts launched yesterday and they have all these accolades, and I know I'm a great interviewer, I know I have a great story, but I said to myself, I've been consistent since 2016, but maybe I don't give up, right? That's the one thing. It's like, I've had dope people. I've had people on the show before they even popped out, right? I've had people. So it's like, maybe this is just planting the seeds for the bigger thing to come. And when that big thing comes, I'm going to be more than prepared. So I'm happy for the role I'm playing. I'm happy to just be able to share your journey. And that's one thing about me. I'm going to figure it out, and I'm going to find a way. And I'm like, let me do more video. Let me get back, like you were saying, really into that hustle on social media, because that's what people are now. So, I appreciate you saying that. And this little one who's sleeping, I'm happy he's cooperating. When they get older, it's real hard to do both. But I'm hustling and making it happen now.
You are.
All right, so that's the wrap for this episode of Dreams and Drive. I hope you enjoyed our guest's dream driving journey, as well as listening to their keys to success. If you love this episode, you know what to do. Please make sure that you are following us. We are at Dreams and Drive across social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So make sure you're sharing this episode, posting it to your Instagram stories, texting it to a friend, sharing on LinkedIn, wherever you are or online. Just pay this forward and share this with somebody. We really appreciate it. And all the sharing that you do helps us grow our community. If you want to join our email newsletter, The Keys, and get weekly updates delivered to your inbox, just go to dreamsanddrive.com/join. That's dreamsanddrive.com/join. And lastly, if you know somebody who would be great for this show, or if you are someone who would be great for this show, please go to dreamsanddrive.com/pitch. I'm always accepting new guests. I'm always accepting new pitches. So I love to see those pitch requests coming in. Keep dreaming, keep driving, and we'll chat again in the next episode. Bye, guys.